What happens when your spirit runs away from you and you don't even realize it until it's almost too late? Today, I want to share a powerful dream and a spiritual battle that reminded me to be kinder to myself.
And before I dive into that, I want to just quickly introduce myself to you in case you're new here. My name is Elizabeth Tice. I am a marriage family therapist trainee, and I'm a level 1 baby shaman.
And I'm Scott, also a marriage family therapist trainee and Husha to this amazing shaman.
The path that I'm walking on, a lot of amazing things happening all at once. So we're going to school for counseling. We're at a practicum site. I'm walking my shaman path, the path that I've always been meant to take. And I am enjoying motherhood, and life is at its full force for us at home. But the downside to that sounds really nice. Lots of things going on, but there's a big downside, and that's the lack of time. Oh my gosh, I feel like we've been so busy. There's schedule is so tight for us that nothing can really go wrong. By wrong, I mean like we can't get sick. If one of us gets sick, it's just a domino effect. It's awful.
It's very true. We just got sick this past week, and it just threw everything out of whack.
And we were talking about it, and we were thinking like, dang, I feel a bit of remorse. We felt remorse for being sick, for derailing the planned things, for whatever it is that we had planned. And I think that that's the biggest downside, because that's you're not really showing kindness to yourself, right? And then on top of that, we were really spread thin. We don't even have like personal time. If we do, it's just like doom scrolling. And I can't believe it's such a privilege to say this. I hate that I am so busy. I hate it.
I agree.
I hate having back-to-back schedule and having to literally look at my calendar like I can see you 2 weeks from now. I think that Wednesday. That looks good. How does that sound to you? Like, you see on social media.
Yep.
Like, wow, that's so one, pretentious, and two, like, you are that busy. I have to schedule you 2 weeks out. Like, unfortunately for us, and maybe you too, but life is so busy. And with that said, when you ask too much of yourself, I definitely felt it, and I didn't realize that it was impacting me.
Yeah.
So I wanted to kind of share with you about some of the signs that I noticed that I was asking too much out of myself. I wasn't being really kind to myself, not giving myself that permission to do things that I enjoy, because I'm like, oh, I need to do this. I need to get this reported. I have to submit this application. I have to do whatever deadline it is.
Yeah.
School.
Oh, I'm so ready for school to be over.
I know, me too. But then like one fire's put out and then there's another fire, right? And so
you want to know what that's going to be? You starting your second level shrine and actually being able to take on clients.
See what I mean?
Because that's going to happen as soon as school starts to wind down. So we're just
this
trading.
is exactly what case in point, when that's another ball to juggle. So it's not just practicing to practice for shamanism. I would technically can take on clients in the future when I raise my level 2. That's another ball I gotta juggle in. And like, I'm already spread thin. And so what I'm trying to say before, some of the things I've noticed when I wasn't being kind to myself. So a person who is their emotional state and their spirit is low, okay? By low, I mean like they're really stressed, they're depressed, they have a lot of anxiety. Really think of like low vibrational energy. Low. It can attract dark negative things, okay? And those negative things, they can actually approach you, me in this case, sexual energy dreams. So full disclosure, I feel pretty confident in my sexual intimacy and my femininity. So in the past, before I even raised as a shaman, I would often have sexual energy type of dreams. And I just thought, it's part of my cycle or it's just part of life, right? But there could actually be a spiritual meaning behind it. And so what happens is that these negative entities, they'll approach the individual and put sexual energy juju into their dreams, and they're essentially just preying on their energy, like literally sucking the energy out of that person. Think like a vampire. So but then you're like, well, Liz, I don't think it's that. I think it's just my time of the cycle, or I'm just a person who has a lot of sexual energy, and there's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with that. But you kind of have to like triage it. What I'm trying to say is you have to kind of really know yourself and ask yourself those questions. Where am I in my body cycle? I always talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and that's sleep, food, water, sex, emotional intimacy, and rest. And if any of those are depleted, it can intensify the other basic needs.
Yeah.
So, kind of triaging, is it spiritual or is it my basic needs or is it just myself most of the time? From what I'm noticing since raising, the sexual energy dreams that I would get or encounter, they've decreased to like 0 to 1. And to me, that's very telling that it's been spiritual attacks all along throughout growing up and even now, whenever I encounter those. And so, just food for thought.
Do you have any examples or any dreams that like
Yes,
you would want to share about?
yes, later, after
Okay.
I speak on one more point.
Okay.
And that is spiritual individual, they may have a stronger tendency to awaken during their sleep. While they're slumbering away, they may start to make logical sense of things and start noticing things are off. They begin to use their 5 senses and notice some of their senses is missing, right? And they awaken in their dream and they are able to take more control of their dream, lucid dreaming, or they'll start to actually try to wake themselves up. Those are some of the things that I've actually myself started to do, and all this will make sense because in the story that I'm going to share with you guys today, it all plays a role in the short of showing how to cut up mahjong little figurines. And so in Hmong Shaman rituals, sometimes those little paper figurines, they're burnt, meant to separate from entities or cut off ties, essentially, or even give like a fake replication of the said individual with the entity so they leave the real person alone. So there's many reasons why those paper figurines would be used. But yeah, so let me just get down to the story of why I'm sharing all this with you today, because this is a part, I feel like a really big part of my own shaman journey as a Hmong woman. And I had been asking a lot out of myself.
Yeah.
Juggling school, again, like I was sharing with you guys earlier, the practicum site that's not paid. And then, kids at home, my wife, myself, friends, just juggling all of those. It doesn't sound like a lot, but when it's all back to back, it is a lot because there is no room for me because I take care of my basic needs. Like I feed myself, I make sure I shower and I have clean clothes and all that like stuff.
It's always the saddest part when you look at it. Your self-care is always the thing that gets taken away first. Like you always give that up first, and you're worried about everything else. And then when you look back, you're like, do I have time for self-care? Not so much.
Some people who have really good boundaries, they're able to still maintain their self-care, and I applaud you, because I did not give myself that permission to do those things I've enjoyed. Yeah. And I've always written them off because, it takes too much work to bring out my paints. It's too much to fill up the jar and spray my paints so they become more watery, because I like to watercolor. I don't want to play my harp because I have to, I gotta
tune it.
Tune it. That's the word. I was like, it starts with a T. Tune my harp, and that takes at least 15 minutes. And then I gotta find the proper seating position, and then I gotta pull it out. Well, my harp is that on display. It's all those nuances, and I'm already mentally checked out from that, and so I don't give myself permission to do those things that I truly enjoy and I love. And so, why is that important? Because I started to get a sexual energized dream. And in that dream, when I had unwanted intercourse by an invisible force, I logically thought to myself, what is going on? Think about it. I logically was thinking, what is going on? What is giving me unwanted, intimacy?
Yeah.
And I realized that it looked like a cephalopod, okay? A flesh tone cephalopod on my belly. And I peeled that sucker off, and it had a face of like a baby, and it was screeching so freaking dang loud. Think of like, if you've ever seen Harry Potter, those little potted plants.
The mandrake?
Yes, the mandrakes. It was screeching loud like that. So I pulled that sucker off, and it's squirming, it's screaming. And so what I did, it was a dream. I don't know how, but I followed it back to the person or thing that sent it to me. And this person, being, thing looked really ordinary, harmless. It was a man, maybe in his 40s, 50s, I don't know, but completely ordinary. He wore glasses, and I just, in that dream, I chucked the cephalopod thing at him, and I told him he can have it back. And then this person was like laughing like a maniac, and he was giggling to himself and was like, "You didn't like my present? You guys." Like, as I'm telling you this, I'm reprocessing it, and I'm just in awe by the dialogue I'm having with this thing, okay? And I'm repulsed by what him and it are doing together that I'm not going to share, but you kind of get the picture. And so all of a sudden, I ask that being, where are you hiding her? Where are you hiding her? And then that man was like, I don't know. You'll have to guess. You'll have to find her. And so I was like, then I noticed that I was talking in like almost like a therapist or like a babysitter mode. Like, I wonder if it's under the cup. And for some reason, there was like a teacup. And I lifted the teacup, and there was nothing there. And then he starts giggling. He was like, not there. And then I remember getting frustrated, and I was telling that being that if you don't tell me, I'm going to, neutralize you. I didn't say neutralize. I used the actual word, but for YouTube content's sake, neutralize you. And right before I was going to neutralize him, I woke up, and that dream was so perplexing. Okay. And so I was also going to go to my shaman practice that day.
Yeah, neither one of us knew that we were about to go into Your first ceremony.
Yes. And so I just had this nagging feeling, like my spirit guides told, like they were trying to prepare me for what was about to happen. But low key, I was panicking because I did not like that feeling, because I'm used to just cruising and going through mountains and rivers and waterfalls and playing with plants and whatnot.
Yeah. I knew we were in trouble when you started warning me and giving me things like, hey, just so you know, this is what it's probably about to happen.
Yes, I kept telling Scott, just in case this may happen, just in case, like there was just this huge anxiety that was just washing over me. And I was like, damn, this thing's really about to go down. And so I remember cleansing myself, doing that part of the ritual, and then going down, and then telling Scott that by say dimming, you need to keep your ears open for that word. And then I kept seeing images of the paper magie. And so then I was like, there's no way. I don't think I knew that now. Why would I need that? That image did not leave my head. And so I'm like, you know what? Okay, hun, let's go ahead, and I want you, because you're my shaman assistant, can you go ahead and cut the mahjong just in case? Just in case. I don't think I'm gonna need it, but just in case. And then Scott was like, "Oh, okay." And it's funny. There was one of my peer. They did their first ceremony, I think, a couple of weeks ago, and his spouse, she's so sweet. She was asking me like, "Oh, hey Liz, can you show me how you cut your mahjong? I want to see how you do it." And I was like, "Oh no, I want to see how you do it." I said that because I was low key insecure, because I've never cut a mahjong before in my life.
The same.
I've always been really people's been cutting it for me. So
we've always been watching.
And,
Never been
watching.
Doing. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so then I politely just said, I would like to watch you cut it up. And so, but then fast forward to me in low key panicking in an anxious mode, watching Scott cut the mahjong. Remember, this is the picture right here of what it looked like. And I was like, oh no, this is not gonna work.
No.
And then next thing you know, I felt this energy of like really calm and very serious and very determined emotion wash over me. And I knew it was my spirit guides. And they just took the paper, cut it in half, and quickly cut it up into this very neat looking mahjong paper, as you saw in the shorts. If you haven't, please check out that short. But that's how they showed us how to cut it. And I've never cut out those little paper figurines before.
Yeah. And even halfway through, I asked her, I was like, is that how we're supposed to do it? Because it was completely different than every other way I've watched someone do it. So I was like, I mean, it worked. It was really good.
The only thing that he's talking about is my spirit guides, they gave it a body and a neck. Anyways, but it looked really nice when I did it for the first time.
Yeah.
It looked really professional, and it looked like something my Sifu would have done. That's how nice it looked. And so I was like, okay, well, we're gonna use this one. And sorry, I don't know offense, but we're gonna use this one. Okay,
I'll use that one too.
And so Scott was like, oh, okay. And so then I quickly went into my trance. I was very nervous, but I went in, and immediately upon going in, after calling down my spirit guides, I had to neutralize a lot of dark entities that was already by my the shrine archway.
Yeah.
And then I saw a spirit of me in the distance, but I couldn't reach her. And then I saw that same man in my dream, and I had to neutralize him because I never got to in the dream. And I had to neutralize him, and I did so by putting him into like this invisible prison, and I essentially escalated him to the heavens, and he was neutralized really quick because he is not of heaven material. And so
didn't he like start to burst into flames on the way up?
yes.
Mm.
Well, I'm trying not to be explicit for YouTube.
Nah, that's fine.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. A lot of these have to be numbed and lit down. If we ever meet in person, I'll gladly share more in depth. But so I neutralized him, and then I was able to retrieve that lost spirit that he took from me, a part of me. And I was like, okay, good, I'm done. No, I was not done yet. And then my spirit guide kept showing an image of me in my head at my front door. I live in a townhome in a very suburb area. They were showing me at my front door ringing, not ringing, dinging, I don't know, hitting the gong. Oh my God, hitting my gong and calling for my spirit. And I'm like, it's 9 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday, and I got, practicum later, I got school later. I don't have time to go hooplee right now. I don't got the chickens. I have the egg, but no, it's 9. I don't have time for that right now. I was supposed to get ready after one meeting, and then I got to go to my other job. and, and I was like telling them, I'm like, there's no way I can hooplee right now. It's impossible. You remember how I told you that everything we have is back to back, and there's no wiggle room for anything to change like that. I don't have wiggle room to hooplee. I don't know how long that's gonna take, and it's gonna domino effect. Like, no. And so I told my spirit guides, like, is there another way that I can go retreat or do what you guys need me to go do? And then immediately there was a path, right? I'm like, oh, sweet. Okay, cool.
How convenient.
Yeah, thank you. And so I follow this path. It's literally just a dirt path, but there's no life of anything to the side. It was literally pitch black, and it was even like misting. Okay, really dark. The only light that was being shown, why I was able to see the path, it was coming from me. And so I'm walking this path, and I'm walking along, and I find myself. It looks like me in this version, right? The present version of myself, but I'm crouched into like a really tight ball, and I'm weeping, and I keep rocking myself. And so this part is really vulnerable, you guys, because soothing, like seeing yourself in that state, I don't know how to explain it. Like, you just have to, if you are ever able to experience that yourself, if you are someone who has that ability to, it is the most perplexing and beautiful and scary thing to do all at the same time, to retrieve your lost spirit that ran away, I should say. And I was just soothing her, and I was trying to tell her that she needs to come home and that she can't wander out like this. She needs to return with me. And she would not come back with me. She wouldn't even show her face. She told me to leave her alone, and that there's too much stress, too much pressure. She's tired. Like, even just talking about it makes me very teary. And that's how I know she's still here. She didn't run away again. But she was just saying there's too much pressure and she can't do it anymore. And then I told her that she can't give up yet, and that those pain, it just means that she's alive. And I told her that she needs to come home, that her time is not done with the earthly plane. She still has a lot of work to do and a lot of things to experience and enjoy, and she has to return home. And then she was like, no, go away, And so I was like, oh. And so I was like, I started yelling out to Scott. I was like, I need you to call out for Liz to come back home because she's not coming home. And I think it was my spirit guide that was actually telling Scott that, because I was talking to myself in like third person.
Yeah, because you kept telling me to throw the horns, and it just kept saying no, and it just wouldn't do it.
I told Scott because I was trying to take her by force. So I told Scott to grab the xianing, the smooth one, because in Hmong Shaman culture we have these metal ring, and they have these plates in them, and there's one that has a lot of spokes, and that's pointy, and that's meant for darker entities. And then there's another version of that, but it has smooth plates, like there's no pointy parts or bits, and that is supposed to be used in soul retrieval for human spirits. And so I had Scott use that one, and it captured her all right.
It definitely captured it.
But the horns, because my spirit guys told me to use the horns to confirm, it just would not come up as she really was going to come back with us. She was not going to stay. Like, even if I captured her butt, was just going to walk right back out. Like, you can't control spirit when they want to leave. If you put too much pressure on them, they will fly away. Gone. And so I was like, this is not.
Yeah, because I threw the horns like 6 or 7 times, and you were like, we gotta try again.
Because my spirit guides, they were telling me if I was not going to come, I will have to do a ritual. Because she was only going to go further and further down this dark path. And so I was like, you need to come home right now. And so I was telling Scott to like call her back, like literally call out. And what was that like for you?
It was interesting because of everything we just went through, all the things that we had to neutralize with the Sinang, and then all of a sudden here we are with this part. And at first it felt very unnatural because I had no idea what was going on, but then after a while it just felt very like sad, like you are safe, you can't come home, you're not alone, we will take care of you.
She did not believe him.
She didn't believe me for the first few, and then all of a sudden
I thought I almost had to even involve our daughter Iris to come and to call for her mom to come home.
Yeah.
Like she was deuces.
Yeah.
Check the heck out.
Send the daughter who runs away more than she does.
But then like remember how I told you, Iris's words are so much more endearing than Scott. No offense. But she has such a special way of telling you how much she loves you, misses you, and how great you are at doing whatever it is you're doing. Like, it's just her special ability. And it doesn't help that her voice is just so sweet. Anyways, so I thought because after with Scott's last round of, calling my spirit to come home, if that wasn't going to work, they were showing me images of Iris. And so I was like right about to, and Scott's like, oh, it closed. Because anyways, and so I'm like, oh thank God. And so I'm like, good. And so I grab myself, put her on my back, and then I'm like, come here, we're going home. And you're leaving. And so I'm going back home, and we're going home in the air, and we are not following the path anymore because it is literally swarming with a bunch of these little gargoyle, gnarly looking imp like creatures. Okay, have you ever seen in like new homes where there's these caterpillar look like centipede, where they're kind of gray and they have a ton of legs everywhere?
No, but you're gonna put a picture of, because I have no idea what you're talking about.
That's what I'm talking about. Their coloring looks like that, and they were swarming everywhere. Even I was like, oh shoot. And I'm like, we're going up there, so we go up there, and they're zombieing it. By zombieing, I mean they're stacking on top of each other so that they can go up in the air, and they're like trying to hold on to my ankle, and I'm zapping them with lightning, spiritual lightnings, and they're being neutralized. And as they keep ascending, they try harder and harder, and then they keep holding my ankle and whatnot, and I keep zapping them, and then it's to the point where I was starting to get a little exhausted because it was just zapping, grab, zapping, grab, because they were like multiplying. And so I was again having that panicky feeling. And as I was literally looking down my legs and like, what do I do? I felt this ray warmth of light in front of me, and I turned around, or faced at where I was ascending to, and my higher self came down. Wow. The feeling was so beautiful. When like you get lost at a grocery store or at a park, and then you see someone familiar that you know, or you see your parents or even your siblings, and you're found again. It was that feeling. And she looked at me, and then I don't know what the heck she did, but
Still trying to figure that
out. Whatever she did, all she did was touch me, and anything that was touching me down below, they obliterated, like turned to dust, like Thanos them. All of them turned to dust, and that was wow, because there's millions of those creatures, and she didn't even look at them. Okay, all she did was touch me, and they were gone. And I was like, wow. But I was still just admiring her. And then she was like, you're safe, you can go. And as I'm like ascending past her, I see in the clouds, there's like a break, and there's a heavenly light that comes down, and there's a literal lighted dirt path, and there was these heavenly soldiers coming down, and they have spears and whatnot, they're in white armors, and they're fighting off these other creatures from the distance that's coming. And I'm seeing them fight, and then
speechless.
yeah, I was freaking speechless. And this is still, I'm in motion, like I'm already gone at this point. Like I didn't get to see the aftermath. I couldn't just watch. I was already gone. I was back in my home Frodo area with my part of spirit that ran away. And I hugged her, and we melted into each other, and I felt the heaviness and pain that she was carrying, and I felt all of her suffering as well. And so I held her really close. I held myself really close, right? And I held my heart, and I told myself that I need to be kinder to myself. And this is my spirit guides also reaffirming all the things I'm saying to myself as well. That I need to be kinder to myself, and I need to give myself permission to enjoy more beautiful things in my life, and to not just experience the bitterness of life, the work, right? For me to stop dodging it and putting out fires, and then thinking about doing the things I enjoy instead of actually doing it. Enjoy the beauty and sweetness of life, and not just focus on work.
Yeah.
Because we're human. We're human, we're not our higher selves, not in this plane of existence. We don't have that infinite source of energy. We can't just keep going. And I hope you're not going as well, because having that kindness to yourself and doing self-care, that is spiritual protection. That is you taking care of yourself, so your spirit don't flee like mine. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And in the wake of this, you found a really fun game that you enjoyed playing.
Yeah. Yes. And so I've been really just giving myself permission to play this video game. It's called Spirit Fair. It's about this girl who becomes like this being that takes souls of the dead and takes them to the other side. And it's such a
calming and relaxing game.
Yes, it's very calming and very relaxing, and it eerily kind of reminds me of the spirit world. And I'll probably talk more about it in like future videos because I'm still playing it. But just giving myself permission to enjoy things like that.
Spiritual work isn't just about slaying darkness. It's also about remembering to rest, receive love, and enjoy the sweetness of life.
And with that, thank you so much for tuning in to us. We appreciate you so much.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
we'll see you in the next video.
We'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.